All right. Good morning. And now we are going to take a look at the Bitcoin price today. Today's Bitcoin price, beginning with the monthly chart. And this is just observations. I'm going to be sharing what I notice, both indications of bullishness as well as indications of bearishness. And we'll take it from there. So, if you've been watching the last several price analyses videos from last week, you've seen that we definitely have been following along. Price has gone where I was expecting it to go, so that's nice, and we'll see that shortly. We're starting with the monthly time frame, so we're on the monthly time frame right here, and we are about halfway through the month, July 15th, 2024 today. So about halfway through the month, and so far what we've done in the month is we've opened around 62, almost 63,000. We've come down to 53,500, and we've come back up to 62,500. As that is what it is currently. While doing that, we wick down into this BTC, this monthly bullish fair value gap, and we almost just touched the top of this monthly bullish inversion fair value gap. So the question is, first of all, again, the candle's not closed, so we're not going to put weight on this yet. But what we'll be looking for going forward is the following. Are we going to come back down here? And if we do, we're going to respect this. We have a lot of significant imbalances down here that we have yet to rebalance. Or you can call these inversion fair value gaps further down. We pointed out that previous cycles, we always came back and left open the bottom one or two bullish fair value gaps. And perhaps that's what's going to happen over here this time as well. Of course, we can't know for sure. But it just seems a little unlikely that we're going to leave all this, and we'll see there's more on the weekly candle. There are more bullish fair value gaps closer to where we were around in the 40 to 50 range. So let's go down to weekly. Oh, and also I drew a dealing range from down here, which is where we swept the lows over there, and to up over here. And then if so, we didn't even come down to the equilibrium there. Doesn't mean we have to, but it just seems likely, especially when you look at the weekly candle. And the weekly candle 2 weeks ago, this was the candle 2 weeks ago. This was the first time we broke market structure. So we had a market structure shift on the weekly candle. This is the first time since all the way down over here where we broke structure over here. This is back November 2022, so that's about a year and a half ago. We broke that prior to reversing and going back and closing above, making a bullish market structure shift over there. Now, is that what's going to happen now? It's possible. But we definitely need to watch this. And what we're going to want to see this week is, are we going to wick up and over the course of the week come back down? And that is the question. The question for the next 7 days or 6.5 days of Bitcoin trading is, are we going to close above this swing high from the weekly candle 2 weeks ago? If we close above that, forming a market structure, a bullish market structure shift, then I would expect that we're probably going to continue going higher in the following week, maybe following weeks. We'd have to see what that looks like in order to get a sense of it. We'd have to see if do we close above this weekly bearish fair value gap here? These are things we'd be looking for. What about that one? Right now, this is a dealing range, a weekly dealing range from this high down to this low, and we had the only imbalance that we had is here and up over there. Are we going to leave this imbalance open while curling back down? Why would we curl back down? It's just really hard to believe that we're not going to rebalance these bullish fair value gaps that are rather high up in this dealing range. Now, again, I'm not an expert. I'm a student. So don't take any of this as trading advice. You'd be foolish to do it. If you trade on my advice, you'll probably lose money, and I want to have nothing to do with it. And if you make money, I want to have nothing to do with it. I'm just sharing my observations. But if we're going to, draw a dealing range from that bottom to that top, equilibrium is down here, all right? And right, that overlaps with this bullish inversion for value gap over here. All right. We also see on the weekly, this looks like we had a bullish market maker model, right? That's for sure. This is from the last big drop going back to 2021, November 2021, almost 2 years ago. Moved all the way down to the 15,000s, 15,000 or so. What was the low? 15,617. And we started moving back up. It certainly makes sense that we would pull back into optimal trade entry range before pushing even higher. I'm not paying any attention to news or anything like that, or rumors and so like. What I have found is that and as crazy as it sounds, is that somehow the news simply drives price to where the charts were saying it's going to go. I don't know if I fully understand that, but it is what it is, and that's what it looks like to me. So I just accepted that, and I guess you can probably explain it if you want to by, or you can argue that if it's driven by algorithms, the algorithms are going to do what the algorithms want to do, and they'll utilize the news to do what they want to do anyway. Okay, the other thing here is that we do see that on the weekly, while we broke market structure to the downside, we did respect this bullish fair value gap to some degree. We did close below it. We have 50% slightly, but then we came right back up and continued higher. We came up to 50% of this dealing range, equilibrium there. And in the coming days, we're going to watch very carefully to see what happened over here. I just realized I have this range here twice, so I'll take off that one. That cleans things up a bit. And of course, we have the all-time high up there. Time to move down to the daily chart. Let's move down to daily. Now, on the daily chart, we had seen a bearish market structure shift from as early as, Friday, June 7th, 2024. Certainly by when we broke below this level here, which I guess would be the 13th or the 14th. Okay. So we're seeing bearishness from there. And we got a bearish order block here and a small bearish order block over there. But we've also, of course, was on the weekly, and the weekly candle, when we came below here, when we closed below here on that day, which ended the week there, that was the Sunday, right? We closed Sunday's the last trading day for Bitcoin before moving back up. Now, looking at the daily candle, what we've done here is I think this would qualify as a bearish order block, a daily bearish order block where we pull back up, bullishness in there, giving people an opportunity to go short and to cover their longs. I think this low here would qualify as a mitigation block, I think. Right? Perhaps, maybe not. I wouldn't really go up before that, so not sure, but I guess this one would for sure. This one would qualify as a mitigation block because we had a swing failure up here, and the low before that I think would be mitigation block. And we have this bearish inversion for value gap on the daily. Now we'd seen a bullish on the monthly, a bullish for inversion for value gap on the monthly as well as on the weekly, but on the daily we have this bearish one, and we want to see what happens to it. Do we respect it or do we blow right through it? And we have this bearish order block as I see this block of 3 candles. Again, that's my interpretation of it. Now, if we're going to draw a range over here from, that's the top of the range to the bottom of the range. So let's just do quadrants. So 50% of the range, we are now at the midpoint of the range, where my understanding is we will often chop around in the middle of a range. So it could be that now that we're in the middle of the range, which overlaps with this these bearish fair value gaps, I haven't yet studied the concept of a measuring gap, but I've heard it, and my understanding is that it's often found in the middle of a range. You can argue that we do have a bullish inversion over here as well as a bullish inversion over here, although that would depend on how today's candle closes. And we have some bullish candles over here. Question is, how are we going to react when we come to these SIBIs, these bearish fair value gaps, and when we come and look below, again, remember we did close with market structure shifts bearish wise. So we could argue that now we've had a bullish market structure shift above here on the daily candle. The question now is going to be follow through. Are we going to keep moving up? And if we do, right, until where and what kind of form? What do we form? What kind of chart do we form? If we're very bullish, we could very well see price pull back a little bit through this BTC and finding support with this BTC or finding support on this BTC. And here, let's look at this range right here. Okay. 50% of this range, equilibrium is down over here, so perhaps we'd wick down to 50% before curling back up and forming a V formation with displacement, bullish displacement upwards. Displacement means forming a fair value gap because there's a big, strong move with a strong, candle like that. That's displacement down, displacement back up, displacement. These would not be displacement, right? Small candles, lots of overlap. Or we could end up coming down and just closing below, and this could have been an inverted V where we're just coming back up, retracing into this leg as we prepare to go lower, retracing into, let me make sure we could see that on COT settings. Make sure we can see that on the 4-hour and the daily. Okay, so maybe we'll come up to optimal trade entry between 62 and 705 or 79 before coming back down. So I don't yet know where we're going to go. When we were down over here, I was saying we're almost certainly going higher before we go lower. I was saying we're probably going to get to 62 to 64, maybe 65. This is 65 over here. 65 overlaps with the 62% mark, retracement mark. So we could, even go a little bit higher to 66.5 maybe. But once we get above the 62% mark on the daily order, the daily dealing range, if our overall direction is down, we have less and less reason to keep going higher. Let's look at the 4-hour. And 4-hour, we see here on the 4-hour a really nice market maker buy model over here. Okay, so this really nice market maker buy model, but quite possibly, what is this? This is our bullish daily order block, right? From here to there. So if that was obviously, we can continue going higher. We can curl back from here and start going lower, and we will see over the next couple of days. But what we've done is we came low, we put in that low down there, and then we moved up, came a higher low, which makes this a failure swing, and that would be a mitigation block. We went higher, came back down into that mitigation block, found support, and kept going higher. So now we have to wait and see what to expect. We've got a 4-hour SIBI over here, which we could stretch across. And we'll see how that reacts. And we've got, this is a 4-hour volume imbalance, right? So we got a volume imbalance up here. I wouldn't be surprised if we at least wick up through this and then come back down, because volume imbalances tend to be very magnetic to price. And then it's really just a waiting game to see where we're going, I think, on the daily time frame. And then at the end of the week, we'll see the weekly time frame. This week's candle, I think, is going to be very important. Again, from a distance, and I don't know if this will be weeks or months, but I do think we will come lower at some point. I'm in Bitcoin for the long run, planning to hold forever. So don't get upset at me if you don't like what I'm saying, or just show me why I'm wrong. I'm a student here. So if you see this and you disagree, let me know. Because I'd be very happy to hear other people's input and feedback. And on that note, we're going to wrap this up. I just realized I haven't seen if there's anybody watching. So I'm going to open this up on the chance that there's somebody there. And if you're there, say hi, drop a comment. Okay, I don't see anybody. So if you did find this and you like it, please leave a like it and drop a comment. It'll help me reach you. Subscribe. This is new. I'm doing this mostly for myself, but if other people find it helpful, fantastic.